Good morning everyone, and welcome to our Moravian Text Daily Devotion for Thursday the 2nd of April. We are in Matthew's Gospel, chapter 27, verse 45 to 56. And the most important thing to say about this passage is it records how Jesus died. Of course, we know why that he died, as a sacrifice for our sins, and there are hints to that woven through the passage. But if this passage leads us to anything, it leads us to gratitude and wonder of why someone like him would do something like that for someone like me, for someone like you. That is the gospel, isn't it? So we see Jesus hanging on the tree, and he cries out in Galilean Aramaic, Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani, meaning, my God, why have you forsaken me? It seems like the only prayer that Jesus ever prayed that the Father didn't respond to, the only unanswered prayer. And it's quite an important prayer because Jesus is quoting from Psalm 22. And I would really encourage you to look at Psalm 22 as part of your devotions today, because so much of the psalm is prophesied, is fulfilled in the death of Jesus. It starts with, my God, why have you forsaken me? The psalm ends with the words, it is finished, which are Jesus' final words on the cross. But the psalm records, verse 6 of Psalm 22, that Jesus would be scorned by everyone and despised. Psalm 22:7, it records that Jesus would be mocked, insulted, that people would shake their heads at him. Verse 8 says that people would pass by and say, let the Lord Yahweh rescue him, which we see in the passage. Verse 15 talks about how his tongue would stick to the roof of his mouth. And again, we see that they recognise that and try to give him something to quench his thirst and null his senses. Verse 16 of Psalm 22 talks about, they have pierced my hands and my feet. Verse 18, they cast lots for my garments. We saw that a few days ago in our reading. And it finishes with that great confession, which in the Hebrew says, he has done it, but can equally be translated as it is finished. That's how Jesus uses it. There's loads of stuff happening in the passage. There's a number of divine exchanges taking place. Jesus is forsaken by the Father on our behalf so that we can be eternally accepted by the Father. But the real one that I want to look at today is in verse 51. I just want to unpack some of the symbolism of the curtain of the temple being torn from top to bottom. And if you've been doing the Old Testament Moravian text reading, a little while back we read how God gave Moses the pattern for the tabernacle, which would later become a temple. The tabernacle was like the holy place made out of tent material, portable, that was then later built into a brick format by Solomon, and later at the time of Jesus by Herod. And why is that important, that the temple curtain is torn from top to bottom? Well, we were just reading a week or so ago in Exodus 26, God says to Moses, make a curtain of blue, purple and scarlet yarn and finely twisted linen, and with cherubim worked into it by a skilled craftsman. Verse 33, the curtain will separate the holy place from the most holy place. And so where God's presence dwelt on earth, there was a curtain, and on that curtain were two cherubim on either side. Why were the two cherubim on either side? You've got to go back to Genesis chapter 3 for that. They were symbolic of the gates of Eden, that God placed two cherubim on either side of the gates of Eden with flaming swords, so that humanity could not go back into the garden, into the presence of God, and into the tree of life, to take of the tree of life. Eden was blocked by cherubim. The most holy place was blocked by a curtain symbolic cherubim on it. And so in this moment, when Jesus breathed his last, that curtain was torn from top to bottom, symbolizing a way back to the tree of life, Calvary's cross that Jesus was hanging on, a way back into the most holy place, into the presence of God. You and I can enjoy unbroken union in the most holy place, the presence of God, at any point of any day. It is always there for us. We just have to tune into it and become aware of it. That is wonderful news, isn't it?